Alrighty, daily trading recap for Wednesday, the 17th of November 2021. Another little day in the red, but not going to happen anymore in the future because I'm just going to straight up not allow it. But we'll get into that more after a little bit of housekeeping. Let's go over some market internals first. For dollar volume, we are 38 minutes after the close here. NASDAQ $239 billion volume. NYSE $267 billion volume. OTC is $2.2 billion volume. Just like to keep a reference point where our dollar volume's at, what we're looking for on a scale of amount of attention on the markets as of right now. SPY, a little just choppy day. It says it's down 0.25%, quarter of a percent. Still clinging to just right around all-time highs still though. So we'll see if we get any more amount of pullback off of that 470 level, or if we just continue to ramp up and go beast mode like normal. Jeez, that's the new normal now. Absolutely insane. Mentioning, yeah, a little tough down day, and I'll get into the charts on CREX and CYTO for the stupid long trades, but I think I'm definitely going to stop. I'm just going to put a limit on myself to say no more longs. I've got to start looking at longs in the same light that I do my shorts, because I feel right now I am just way too gunslingerish, way too free and easy with my longs, because it's whatever mindset or paradigm I convince myself in with my cash account that, oh, well, it's a cash account. Oh, I can use a small size here. Oh, I can throw a $200 size at that trade. You know, $200, that's not a big crazy loss, but even if I do take 10% on that $200 position size, that's $20. And for where I'm at right now, that's kind of a lot. That's a lot more than I should be taking. That's in comparison to where my winners are right now. For what I'm doing on those same trades for the long side, it's nowhere near in comparison. And looking back at my data on TraderSync, it's not looking good for win rate on the longs. It's been quite a while since we've had a successful long above a 10% winner for a profit-wise. And overall win rate is below 20%, I believe. It's just not good. And I have to stop myself at some point, because it's just insanity to think that, oh, my little playing around and all my little tests here and whatever I think I'm seeing, trying to test that little thesis of, oh, it's just a small position size doing it here and here. Those stupid little paper cuts are so meaningless, and they're actually detrimental to what I'm doing as a trader and how I want to conduct myself in this trading career going forward. It's just got to change. So for the meantime, as of right now, in the intermediate term, I'm definitely going to cut myself off from going long. And I'm thinking about changing my Thinkorswim account over to a margin account just to get some more day trades going. I've got 2 other shorting accounts through TradeZero. So not that I'm looking to go harder short. Of course, a few more charts today too that shoulda, coulda, woulda, not necessarily even shoulda, coulda, woulda, I couldn't do on 2 of them because they were sub-dollar. But even the same light of, okay, this is what I'm seeing now. I got to start slamming this more and more. So yeah, going to try to keep this daily trading recap pretty short and nice and simple, but because there wasn't much going on otherwise. But golly, I'm handcuffing myself. I'm just pulling trigger to say you're cut off. No more longs until there is just such a hard and clear. And I'm seeing it over and over and over again on all these charts where I'm saying, ooh, that's a good long point there, and it goes 10, 20, 30% without me, or it does exactly what I think it's going to do. And I see that weeks over weeks over weeks, because that's where I get to the conviction point where I feel very easy throwing large dollar size at that trade, rather than just these kind of speculative or just what I call educational or provisional or a little just FOMO easers types of trades that they're not crazy position size, but they're just enough that they're stupid. If that makes any amount of sense. And I know it does for me if I'm watching this back as a replay. It is detrimental, and I'm going to stop it as of right now. So that's the introduction. Mentioning the stocks that, man, going short, VRAR was one of them. This wasn't the best one, but just the same thing of popping up on a little tiny spike. You get from 18 to 20-ish, tapping 21.75 as a top, and beautiful, just fading. You get the second minute candle produces the high of the day that just taps 21 perfectly. Yeah, even perfectly. Fades off from there. That was the biggest volume candle on the day. Easy sit as a short, easy fade right away within that morning session. And even if you're reshorting this little attempt here to climb back to VWAP, the nice little trade from 19.2 down to a new low of day there. Just an easy. These are the types of freaking trades that I need to be in. And then the AVGRs, these were my boys. AVGR, ZSAN. Oh my gosh, the same thing. Of this one was climbing pretty nicely in pre. You know, I had this little morning dump fake out, what I would look for as a normal. This one wasn't the greatest percentage move here at this point from the initial spike, but still climbing, still like peaking above that initial spike high, but then coming back down. But respecting VWAP, spiking to a new high from there, coming just under that dollar range. Sub-dollar, of course, I can't short through trade zero, so didn't really even have an inkling toward this one way or another, even on the long side. Because it's just, yeah, I don't want to be a part of it on the long side. I don't think it has the strength to just continue going as a long either. And this was a great example of that again. The first minute candle was the high of the day and failed to even break the high in pre-market. And you're just sitting so easy. You get a little bounce of a VWAP here, yeah, whatever, but it just continues to die. It's break to the downside of VWAP and just bleeding death the entire morning session. Those are the types of trades I want to be a part of, I tell you what. ZSAN, I mentioned, yes, same exact thing. News catalysts different for each one of these ones. Floats, of course, far different on each of these ones, but it's just the overall market sentiment on what these things are doing. You get whatever wants to do in pre, at least for this past week, and I feel even maybe in bleeding into last week a little bit as well. I used to try and go off the thesis that, okay, let some of these pre-market movers have a little bit of morning volatility still left in them, but of just of this week especially too, what we've been seeing is it's just no amount of movement whatsoever, even within the first 10 minutes of market open. It's just like they're almost dying within the first 1, 2, 3 minutes that you have to be short. And it's kind of easier to save yourself the headache and just establish a position in pre-market still at this point, as of right now, and what I feel this market is telling me that, gosh, again, another sub-dollar as well, so I couldn't have gotten short this one. But holy, easy sit as a short, easy cover, not trying to just have limit orders so focused in. Of course, I'm going to have a limit order, a profit-taking limit order in if I'm sitting in this one, but it's not like you're so hard pressed to, got to get out at this point here, that size is an issue. Of course, can't speak to six-figure size trading in that sense, but where I'm at right now, especially, this just, it's there. That's what I feel, and I need to start acting on it more. And I was ready to today, but those two especially I could not get on. GOVE, I know it's Jack number 2 and reverse long, I think, as well. We're getting short heavy on this one. Some good news catalysts on this boy. I didn't want to touch it because it was a little bit different since it had a nice day yesterday and continuing with a little bit of strength in the after hours from yesterday's trading day. And this pre-market today too, going pretty parabolic. Okay, let it do what it wants to do. There's other options potential that I could have put my focus in, but I couldn't short them anyway. Again, don't have to beat that bush down severely, but this one did have kind of that same opportunity of looking at this in the overall context perspective, that we are looking to play the intraday trend on these bad boys and not get just faked out, fooled around by emotions of trading. We're understanding what these charts are, what these tickers are. And it isn't, I was thinking about this with something else, it isn't about reading the tape. It isn't about reading the level 2 or the fundamentals or the technicals or any amount of aspect of that to say, oh, well, there's the volume profile resistance here, there's levels here, there's these warrants out at this point, and where blah, 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 goes on and on and on. It's just about understanding what the overall feeling and the market is doing at this point, because back in 2020, right, I can easily relate it to that crazy March 2020 where it didn't matter what the float was. It didn't matter who had warrants here, who had shares at this point here, what the volume profile and the technical said. It just went up. Like everything just goes up. Whereas I feel the market sentiment with these ones is, yeah, of course, if it's a crazy low floater, if the extremes, the outliers are outliers themselves, but what the mid-range traders are, these charts are, trading the chart itself, they're just bleeders, they're dyers. And I want to be alongside the big market sentiment. I want to be alongside, for some reason, one way or another, which really doesn't matter at the end of the day. All that matters is price. What doesn't matter is if there was some amount of overhead, that's why this thing tanked, if there was just not enough retail traders excuse me, to keep propping this thing up. Whatever reason why this thing didn't continue higher today, have a second continuation green day, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is it went red. And that's what I want to be a part of. It's at the end of the day, you can have the greatest thesis, you can have the greatest insight into the fundamentals of the company and the reasons why it should go up or reasons why it should go down, and all these different indicators and MACDs and Bollinger Bands and all these different things, but it's just meant to go down. It's meant to die. That's what's just some of these, all of these scrappy, sketchy stocks are meant to do, is just go down and die. So at this point in market time, I just feel I especially got to start attacking that harder and harder, and learning from the best of the Jack number twos, the reverse longs, of all those guys who bias to the short side, who have the respect to understand when that market sentiment has changed. And that's, of course, something, if I want to start delving into that more and more with that style of trading, to understand when the party's over, sometimes understand when I get lucky that it's, for whatever reason, this thing should have gone up, that all the indicators were pointing this thing has got to squeeze and it doesn't. Understand, hey, I kind of got lucky. I'm just going to take it as it's there. I'm not going to call myself a prophet, but P-R-O-P-H-E-T, not a P-R-O-F-I-T. But I'll take the profit, P-R-O-F-I-T, as it's there too. But gosh, yeah, certainly going in hard on that one. But now I'll get into CRX. So there's charts I want to mention that keeping my eye on. Yeah, going to CRX now. This one was a third-day surge watch from yesterday. Going literal with the third-day surge watch. We had a nice recovery day, little rest day-ish yesterday. How closed higher than we opened. It was looking nice above VWAP. After hours did whatever. Pre-market today did whatever. But then you get this little perk out of nowhere in this pre, and it wasn't a huge amount of bid support. It was still a little bit wider of a spread. It wasn't like bidders were coming in to slap this thing. There was a little bit of hidden buyer action coming along on this one, and we were testing this little range, 245-ish, where we were closing yesterday. And I was liking it. I was feeling something. I was thinking something was manipulated too much about this one. And I was thinking we could get a little tiny crazy spike. Maybe even if we reclaimed a 2.6 here, just right out of the gate, that it gets a quick little shoot up there. Nice, easy little quick, simple trade for what I thought I was seeing on the level too. Started in with 200 shares, and then we get to market open, and thought I was seeing more bid support coming in pretty much right away. Got in with another 200 shares and developed a far larger size than I would normally get in on this one. Yeah, looking back on it, this was far too big of a size for what kind of scalpy trade I was looking for. I took up a lot of cash from my cash account today, trading this trade itself. But now that I use that as a reason for disapproving of that position size, it's just, man, the thesis for the trade really wasn't that great. It was just kind of like I thought I was seeing something on the time of sales on the level 2, like, okay, something's not going on here. I want to be prepared for it if it just does come before I can even realize it, and I can just sell into that profit opportunity. But it did not come. I read it totally wrong. There was nothing there. This thing just pretty much immediately died off. And I was forced to cover at the bottom here, 237 of this candle, and it immediately recovered and started putting a few more trades at like 242, 244. I was like, what the heck? It wasn't big size. I think it was just too crazy wide of a spread as it broke this low here. There was just nobody to come in to fill that gap, and I got stupidly stopped out. And of course, saved myself, cut losses quickly, understood that this thing was a bleed or die the whole rest of the day. There was nothing to come to fruition of this one for the rest of the day. F idea on the trade itself and for what I thought I was seeing. But staying execution wise, just understanding, okay, I was not seeing what I thought I was seeing, or it's not there what I thought I was seeing. Cut that loss right now. But it's just, again, this goes into that reason of I need to be able to control my position size, my emotions when I'm trading. I was controlling my emotions when I was trading this one specifically as well. But on the long side too, it's just something about me trading through a cash account, or me just that difference of it, that it's just kind of, it's so easy to just take a few shares, to take a little tiny dollar position size. With this one too, it's kind of easy to ramp up the position size even before I realize it. But just, that's why I'm putting the stop on myself for trading the longs, because I got to look at these from a totally different lens. I got to do something radically different, because I'm just, something's wrong, something's off. I'm not seeing these correctly. I've just not had a winner in a good long time. And I can't trade. it's kind of just frustrating to watch the small cap recaps, the 2Es, pick your other trader like that with a larger account size, because I can't trade like that. I don't have the trades. I don't have the cash to be able to go in and out like they do. I don't have to be able to take that many trades. I don't have the size to be able to take the profits that they do percentage-wise that really to me are just meaningless kind of with a small account. It's weird to say that, but it is true that I can't put my focus in that style of trading with a small account. That's just not how I'm able to grow this cash account. And I'm not saying that I'm going to try to go for a home run or 100% moves with each one of my single trades, but I can't be trying to focus on a 2% trade, on a 3% trade every single time with my small account and going all in with my cash on that one day and then having to wait 2 days for that cash to clear. It's just not. So I have to hold myself accountable to me, just like everything else in life. It's not about what they do. I can learn from them and say, oh wow, that's cool. I can see what their perspective is, what they're doing, but understand that it's all about me, and they are different from me, and I can't compare myself to them, and I can't try to replicate what they're doing, because that'll never work itself either. So I think I have to take a little breather, take a break away from that long side, and start to just come to these whatever squeezers, big percentage movers, or potential long trades with a totally clear and fresh mind to see, okay, I probably would have got in here. Let's see where it goes from here. Oh, wow. Okay, that did not work out whatsoever. That would be another long one. And even just the mental paper trade like that is so much more valuable to say, okay, well, that was wrong. I'm not going to look at one of those again. Let's look at this chart over here. See if, okay, that could be a potential long there. Let's see where it goes from here. See if what I'm actually seeing is correct, and just continuing to put in the screen time, put the chart time like that, versus just these kind of stupid trades like this one. It's got to stop. So change is going to happen from there. CYTO, I mentioned from yesterday that I had a few shares, 20 shares, ended up cutting with the same thing, that there was just no amount of support on this one. I really like this one from the support it had. Hard selling on that first big green day at the end of last week trading week, and then kind of holding this little range here, climbing higher that second day, the first little red day, and then a little bit of a gap down this next day from yesterday's trading day, and then again the same thing of closing higher than we opened. Thought if we get any amount of volume, this thing could certainly test and start to tap that 2.4 level, 2.5, and that could be a nice little momentum or reversal trade. Telling myself the same lies of, oh, it's just 20 shares. Yeah, I think this could go there. If it doesn't, it's not that crazy of a loss. But even still, it's taking away mental cap from me being this one. I have to take up another chart space where I could have something else up there, because I got to watch this one, because if it breaks here and doesn't look great, then I got to cut it. And now it's taking my attention away from the other ones that I could be in or could be watching, from the short charts that I know I want to be watching and checking out their price action and time and sales. So P&L, not crazy of a loss, but it's about the mental capital that I'm wasting on these ones. It's about, again, I've not been right on one of these in a super long time, so let's stop being wrong just for a start. It's not even about like, okay, let's diversify, or let's work on our entries and executions, which is still the monthly goal for me on this one, of being more of a sniper and getting precise with my entries. But I'm just firing blanks almost of, okay, I'm in the wrong space. So I can be having a great, awesome little trade there on this one, and great entry for this 10-minute time frame window. But why, in a sense? So, yeah. That was really it. No real hard scans for me as of right now, or anything on the watch list going into tomorrow. Still just kind of going to keep my main focus on big percentage movers in pre, looking for, even though some of them may be earnings, I still feel this kind of downtrend, fading, bleeding, intraday chart sentiment is legit, even with earnings as well. But of course, we look for more of the news catalyst plays, the GOEVs, the different tickers that way. But continuing to put my hard focus on those plays rather than just kind of chasing so many rabbits with, oh, okay, let's look at the EV sector play. Oh, let's look at the RIVNs, the LICDs, and oh, well, are they bouncing? They could have a nice little fade here, and trying to play sympathy plays off of that one. I'm sticking to one thing. I have to stick to one thing until I continue to exhaust every single aspect of it until I understand the ins and outs of it, and trying to chase so many rabbits and pull myself in so many directions, I feel has made me far worse in the past too, and even kind of right now as well, than I would really like to be. So I'm just kind of streamlining myself down and saying, this is really all I'm looking for. If it's not there, then I'm not trading. I'll continue to watch and say, if I continue to not see that over and over again, then okay, well, I got to start looking for something else. If that comes back again, maybe down the road later somewhere, then okay, great. That'll be a nice, easy plug and play. I can pick up right where I left off, but it's a grind, but I love it. I sincerely thank you guys for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.